Hey, Leslie, is Ashley coming?
She's there.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. You didn't pop up yet.
Oh, yeah, we're waiting for Linda and or Ellen. John isn't able to be here this morning,
Okay,
so we can't proceed without a quorum. So
right.
one or both of them hopefully will be here in the next few minutes.
Okay.
I did something and lost part of my video. I'm gonna go off and come back, so you know, or try.
Ashley, did you just see Linda's text? She's trying to get on.
No, I didn't see her text.
Yeah, she texted you and I both. She said she's trying to get on. She'll see us in a minute, maybe.
Okay. There she is. I see her.
Do you see her? I can't see her. How come you can see her and I can't?
It might be the view that you have. Oh, there's Ellen and there's Linda. If you just see the speaker, it just shows one person at a time. You can swipe through and see everybody.
Right, I got that. All right. All right, now we have a quorum. Let's get started. Leslie, roll call.
Linda Calafiore.
Present.
Donna Jett.
Present.
Ellen Martin.
Present.
John Mysick is absent. And Judy Reforzo.
Here.
We're good. Thank you very much.
Okay, next item on our agenda is public appearances from anyone wishing to speak on anything that is not on today's agenda. Okay. Announcements from commissioners. I'd like to start with, I don't want anyone to forget the wildfire presentation that's happening at the Forest Theater tonight from 5:30 to 7. And they're also testing the siren, I think, in the city at the same time. So that's my only announcement. Anyone else?
Well, I plan on going. Will I see some smiling faces in person? I'm so excited. Yes.
Donna?
I'm planning on going too. Just so note, the Women's Club's decorated for July 4th. So when you drive by, and also if you go down Ocean between Carpenter and Hatton on the south side, Flo Schneider's house has been flunked. So it's kind of fun to see 100 flamingos in her front yard.
And then Ashley, are you going to talk about our schedule for 4th of July decorating? And I know that I'm on Farmers Market on July 1st.
Yes, I will speak about that.
And this is Ellen. Somehow I signed up for 4 farmers market when I've done 2, and I didn't mean to sign up for the week of June 28th or July 1st. I'm part-time teaching at the office, so I cannot do those. So if anybody else can step up to the plate on especially that July 1st one.
I think we'll go over that when we get to that section on our agenda, I think, right, Ashley? Yeah. Okay. Announcements from staff?
I do not have any announcements at this time.
Okie dokie. Orders of business. Receive an update on the farmers market.
So farmers market continues to go well. It's very busy there at the market. I'm still working with our market manager on hot topic items like mask wearing at the market, which we're continuing to encourage people to do because it is a crowded space. So we do still have those signs up. Our vendors were wearing their masks last year, and I'll continue to keep talking with him about that. Same with dogs at the market, ongoing issues for us as we move into the summer and our busy time for that.
But let me clarify that. Masks aren't required though, are they?
They're not required, but I think it's a helpful reminder to people, especially since most people at the market are, moving through doing their shopping. There are lines that form. So if people want to wear their masks, they should feel comfortable doing so, but it is not required to be participating in the market. But it is a crowded space again, so a consideration for people attending. It's a busy market. We continue to have community groups sign up to participate in the market. We've located them down by Vesuvio, and I did have a conversation with our market manager about that, about the location for the community groups, because it's kind of floated around the market, and part of the reasoning and logic with that is I'm sure you all notice that the vendors move around throughout the market. Nobody has a stationary place in that. So everybody has a turn at being in kind of centrally located in the middle of the market. And our real focus here, it is an added benefit to have our community groups participate in the market, but the real focus is our vendors. And we do want to retain our vendors. We want them to be happy. We want them to do well at the market. And so that is the reasoning behind that. And I will continue to discuss with our market manager, and I'm sure we're going to start moving towards thinking about how we use Devendorf Park more as we go forward. I haven't forgotten about some sort of community group recognition type of thing. This came up for us in our strategic planning session and also in the council strategic planning session. I'm looking at something probably in the fall around that in Devendorf Park. So just wanted to let you all know what the deal with that was, and the floating locations and our moving vendors. And then to that end, as Ellen did say, and Donna asked about the 4th of July, one of our community groups, Carmel Cares, did some decorating for us for Memorial Day. So I'm going to be talking with them about any support they can provide for doing additional decorating for the 4th of July, since they have some of our flags already in their hands. That seems logical to me. So I'll be in touch with all of you about decorating in the park in particular for the Monterey County Pops events and what we need in terms of help for that. So Ellen, don't worry about that. It's okay. For that July 1st, you're good. Or the week of June 28th. And then for the flag giveaway on Thursday, July 1st, it is Linda and Ellen right now on the calendar. And so if Ellen, if you're unable to make it, if there's anybody else who can, just let me know or Leslie know, and we'll add you to the calendar. And thank you all for being willing to do that. And we got our new banner. It looks terrific.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that's all I have for the farmers market.
All right, and this is a short, sweet meeting today, I think. Receive updates and discuss the 2021 special events calendar.
Judy, do you want to open it up for public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Public comment on farmers market.
It looks like Joe has raised her hand.
Thank you. This is Joe Todd, and thank you, Ashley. That was great information. I also wanted to comment on the community groups. That it's great having them at that at the end of like near Junipero, because then we all know where they're going to be. And I did speak with some of the vendors, and they really have paid for their space, and most of them, at least the ones that I talked to, like this space where they are. They chose that space, and sometimes they were moved around because of community groups, but then they got that all straightened out. But it's really neat that we know where they are now at the end of near Junipero. And I was going to wonder if it's possible to make sure that the recycle cans and the food waste bins are closer to Junipero rather than in between. I guess, I don't know, I guess in between Junipero and like this time they had the cans before where the library table was. But last week when they had the 3 different community groups, they were on this side of those bins. So if they could put the bins really closer to Junipero so they don't interfere with the community groups, would be great. Thank you. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you guys all very much for the support of the community groups at the farmers market. It's just wonderful. It kind of ties the community together, especially in these weird times that we've had, in a great way, and really extends our message and our embracing of both visitors as well as residents throughout the grander community. And it's wonderful. So thank you, kudos, and it's big time appreciated. So just wanted to reinforce.
I have another question. May I ask, please, regarding the community groups?
Sure, Joe.
Ashley, do we have a calendar of when the community groups are going to be there?
Yeah, we do have a loose calendar of when community groups have asked to be at the market. And there's still open space on it at this point in time, if people are interested in participating.
No, I was wondering, do you know when they are? Because I was looking for the...
At the end of the agenda.
Pardon me?
It's part of the agenda packet, yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hi, Judy. This is Dale.
Oh, okay.
How are you? Sorry I haven't been here the last meeting or two. I keep forgetting, but I'm here today. We're excited to say that the business community has been pushing us to work on getting the downtown area ready for Car Week. And they're actually assisting, if you saw the Friday letter, Shaheen worked with us week before last. And we're going to be working with Public Works. They actually were out 2 days last week with the sidewalk cleaning machine, but we're going to be redoubling efforts, working with the restaurants, and they want to actually invest in some other beautification efforts. So if there's anything that you guys know of that you think we need to do before Car Week, I'd love to hear from you, because we can focus our efforts on the things that you think are important.
Okay.
And we're continuing lots of other things every week, but Devondorf Park is one of them. Go ahead.
Okay, maybe we'll agendize it. If we need to, we'll talk to Ashley about what needs to be done. And we can forward that.
Okay, you were breaking up a little bit on my end, but looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
All right. One more time. Third time is a charm. receive updates and discuss the special events calendar for the city of Carmel-by-the-Sea.
So first, I want to start off by thanking Ellen and Donna, who were ad hoc committee about special events for the rest of the year. And these are just the events that the city coordinates, not the other permits that we have coming in from outside organizers. Donna, you raised your hand. Do you want to start us off?
I'm sorry, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Halloween parade. I was ad hoc or assigned to contact the chamber before the pandemic regarding the chamber's participation in the parade and on that event. And unfortunately, I was never able to reach Jenny. She was busy. And then the pandemic came. Well, I was able to had a nice talk with Jenny McMurdo, the chamber, on Monday. It was a very informal talk. It was nothing binding for the city or them. And I had told her, or asked her, would the chamber consider collaborating with the parade and to get them involved and get the businesses involved, the restaurants involved in the Halloween parade, and try to update it. And they could have cars with businesses on that. That had previously not happened. And she said her board was meeting this week and they would discuss it. She does not have a full or part-time event manager at the moment, but she was interested. And I also explained to her that this Halloween, we were not having a luncheon, and we would encourage the chamber to do a special birthday or Halloween or parade luncheons and specials. People would be in town for the parade, that the businesses should jump on that bandwagon and use that, because we were not doing the luncheon anymore. People will need to eat, call it the birthday special. So she was very interested and is going to look at it and see what they can do to join in. And again, and I explained, city staff does, the closing of the streets, but if they had someone who could help organize it, because we're staff low also on events. So that is happening. Whether, I don't know the outcome, but I did want to report it was a very nice meeting. And also the hearts are going to be going up. The Carmel Women's Club is getting a heart. And this is off topic a little bit, but if you read the Friday letter, you know that we have our new bus stop in front of the Women's Club, which we're very proud of. And that's Dale's to beautify downtown. Even though we're a little off of downtown, it's the entrance to the city. So, and they painted the curb and cleaned the sidewalk. So things can be done. So anyway, I'm excited with the chamber, so we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Donna. So let me back up before Halloween a little bit about what we've got going on our calendar. So I've been working with Donna and Ellen. We met last week, and then talking with Leslie, and then our other departments, so the police department and public works, because we all work together on these events, and we were all incredibly short-staffed. So talking about what can we do, what do we think is feasible in this kind of recovery year in bringing events back. So first up, we've got the Monterey County Pops is coming for the 4th of July. We've been coordinating with them. We'll do some decorating in the park, but they'll have musicians in the park setting up in the morning and doing their rehearsal and a program from 2 to 4. And that will also be broadcast on AMP, so people can watch on public broadcast if they've got regular television. After the 4th of July, so that's all set and organized. We're ready to go on that. We've worked with the Monterey County Pops group, just keeping it simple for this year. Yes, Linda?
I was reading the schedule of the rehearsal on that day, and it seems like people will get there early for the rehearsal, and the official concert doesn't start till 2. Have you had discussions with them about how that is going to work, because if people come at 2:00, I mean, the space on the grass is going to probably be gone.
It is going to be gone. It will be similar to our 4th of July. I anticipate where people come and put their lawn chairs out in the morning and their blankets. And that's just, it's going to be how it is. And I think there'll be people who wander in and wander out throughout the day. Having the rehearsal time, I think, will be nice, because if you're planning on going down and having a beach picnic, you can still pop into the park and listen to some patriotic music, whether it's rehearsal or not, or coming back from the beach, or whatever it is you're doing on 4th of July. I think the day-long program provides an advantage for us. And it's actually even a longer day than we would have normally. When we had music in the park, it was from 12 to 2. So this provides people more opportunity throughout the day to hear music in our park. It may be crowded. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Because I was, hesitant to scope out space, early in the day. But I may do that, and on the other hand, I may not. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the concert.
Yeah, I think people will be in and out. I don't think you'll have people staking out at 8 and be there until they close down. So we'll see what happens, and as we do with all of our events, we'll do an after action and see what that looked like, and how, if we work with the Pops again, how we set it up. Maybe it would be a shorter rehearsal time or earlier program, but we'll assess once we get there. This is the first time they've come and done something in our park. So we'll see. The next event that city staff organizes that comes up on our calendar is the Sandcastle contest. So I have reached out to the AIA about whether or not they want to coordinate on that event again. We work with them. I have not heard back from them yet, so I'm just waiting, being patient. I know they must be slammed. My brother is an engineer in Oregon, and he's working 80-hour weeks. So lots of people are doing building projects and things like that. So I imagine all of the architects are very busy. So we'll see. And Leslie and I have talked about ways that we can, little things that we can do in the interim to make some of these events have less heavy lifting. For instance, you all remember the colored cones that we put down to mark off different sections, and whether or not that actually helps our judges or not. But we typically have, yes, Judy's shaking her head, have the cones go back pretty far when most people build at the shoreline. So fewer cones, that means we probably might not need public works staff. So just things like that where we can scale back without too big of an impact to the event overall. So that's what we're looking at for Sandcastle, to be determined in terms of date, probably sometime in September. Again, waiting to work with the AIA on that, because we need to study the type charts to see what will work best for us, so people's sandcastles don't get washed away in the middle of the event. After that, we have the annual, somewhere in the month of October, we have 3 events. We have the annual pumpkin roll, we have the Carmel High Homecoming Parade, and we have the annual birthday and then Halloween parade and luncheon. So for the annual pumpkin parade for this year, I am proposing that we cancel that event just for this year. I do want to bring it back, but it is an event that requires a great deal of heavy lifting on the part of staff. On that hill on Ocean Avenue, it is a good workout day. And we did talk about, an alternate type of event in the park, but October is such an event heavy month already. We will have Taste of Carmel here that month, which is on a Thursday. And so I'm proposing that we cancel that event for this year. I think it's a great event. Our families really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. But I would like to bring it back next year. It will also provide us next year more additional time to work with growers, so that we can let them know how many pumpkins we can need, which we will use a local grower, but reduce the cost of the pumpkins for the event. So, and we did not have time to do that this year because of the late notice we got from the state on what exactly is happening with our events. So I propose that we bring the pumpkin roll back next year. And I look forward to that. In terms of the Carmel High Homecoming Parade, I'll be reaching out to them and seeing where they are in terms of whether or not they want to bring that event back. I imagine they will as we return to normal. That's about a 10-minute event on our side of things. I know the students work very hard in building their floats. And it's rolling street closures, and the police department is able to handle that in the normal course of business during their day. So that will move forward. And then, as Donna said, the annual birthday and the Halloween parade and luncheon, as we looked at that event and how we could scale it, one of the big pieces of that that's very labor intensive is that luncheon piece of it. So my proposal was that we eliminate the luncheon piece of the event, keep the parade, and then we work with the chamber, as Donna said, on encouraging people who participate in the parade and who are watching the parade to be in our downtown. So we would be taking something that we used last year, which is the Pumpkins on Parade campaign. So encouraging our businesses to decorate, have candy for trick-or-treaters and encourage trick-or-treating downtown. Oh, and I will note that last year, which was unfortunate, we missed Halloween falling on a Saturday finally. This year it's on a Sunday, and so I would propose that we move the event to Sunday so that it can be on actual Halloween. So again, keeping our event participants downtown in that area once they've seen the parade, and doing some trick-or-treating and seeing what else we can coordinate with the Chamber of Commerce. And as Donna said, she spoke with Jenny. I also reached out to Jenny. And so we'll see what, between the two groups that are short-staffed, what we can come up with. And but it will be a simpler year than it's been in the past as we start to come back to normal. So that's the proposal for that event.
So Ashley, maybe we could pass out pumpkins again at the farmers market so that everybody can take them and put them out, and that in place of the pumpkin roll, since.
Yes, and I will. I was going to share this calendar that I developed based on a spreadsheet that Ellen and Donna had, but it's not, I don't think it'll be too small, and I'll have to keep scrolling over. What I'll do is include it in the next agenda packet. And what I've done is listed out all of our events, where they occur in each month, also what we've done at the farmers market and any other campaigns. And there's a nice, what we did in 2019, what we've done in 2020, and what's proposed in 2021. And so that carries over those initiatives that we started doing at the farmers market, because I think they're great, they're really important, and they coordinate with our events and start to get people excited about what's coming. So those are included there, and I will make sure that's included in the next agenda packet.
Great.
Next up, we have the Veterans Day ceremony. I propose that we keep that exactly the same as we've done it, working with Post 512. That's an event that is relatively small in scale, and it's great working with Post 512 to develop the program for that. It's a couple hours of staff time on that holiday day to put out chairs and set up the speaker system. So I want to keep that event exactly as it is. The Home Crafters Marketplace, that's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. That's another big event. That'll be contingent on the number of public works staff that we're able to get. And I already talked with the police chief, and his officers should be able to help us coordinate street closures as we get the vendors in and out. But I'll be working with Public Works on that, because there's a lot of heavy lifting in the morning. And I know we do have a lot of volunteer help getting our vendors in and out. But there still is some things that we can't all do, and trucks we can't drive and things like that. I do wanted to, for this year, kind of do a copy and paste of our vendor list from 2019. That will streamline things for us considerably. So we'll keep the same vendors that we had in 2019, and we won't do jurying this year. We'll just do the same event that we did in 2019. We may see some, fewer vendors if people aren't able to come back. We'll see. We've heard from vendors who've participated in the past who are raring to go and want to know if we're having the event. So we'll be getting that information out soon. And then we'll resume jurying in 2022. And we'll be back on track to start again. Yes, Linda. You're muted, Linda.
Thank you. You're not going to know how many are going to drop out, but possibly if you had, a significant number drop out, you could maybe ask new vendors or repeat vendors to just do a lottery so that you're not doing staff time, just to fill up the spaces. Because I think it would be disappointing if, 10 to 25% of the people did not show up and you actually had space for them. Anyway, just something to think about without taking a whole lot of staff time.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah.
Donna?
I was thinking the same thing as Linda, but my thought was to talk to Raul if he has any vendors that he believed would be appropriate, select 10 or 12 from other markets and call that group rather than send out a huge thing for new vendors. We might get some vendors that have never applied, but use his expertise and experience. That's just an idea. Also, that I wouldn't want to go through this and half the vendors don't come or sign up and we're straight, looking for members, but another resource. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can start communications with our vendors early enough. We usually do around jurying time, let people know, one, if they have to re-jury, and two, that we're starting to ramp up to get ready for home crafters. Here's your vendor paperwork and things like that. So we'll start that process early so we have a better sense of, what to look for in terms of vendors. We'll see about it. I don't want to do, last minute scrambling and additional work. And it may be that we just have a smaller event this year. It just might be the case as we ramp up again. And then that brings me to the annual holiday celebration in Devendorf Park. So that is an interesting event. It involves some of our dance groups here in town and choirs from the schools. I'm not sure where we'll be in December in terms of large group singing, even if we're outdoors, especially knowing I think that kids are still going to have to continue to wear masks in school settings. So I'll be talking to our schools. I also did already reach out to the Sunset Center to see if they could do some program planning with us for that event. Potentially, it might look a little different than it's been in the past. We might carry over some elements, but again, just to assist staff in developing and planning this program, because tree lighting is another one of those where it's coordinating a lot of people in a small amount of time. So that's what I'm thinking for the tree lighting annual holiday celebration is, reaching out to groups that we know have an expertise in some area or good connections with different groups to leverage those to just make our events nice and for our community as we start to come back from the pandemic and gather again. Are there any questions? Linda?
Not directly on your calendar, but is there any update on the Forest Theater and when that will take place, open up? I don't know where we are in that RFP process.
So that is, yes, that is not on topic at all. I can provide a report out on where we are at our next regular meeting on that.
Back to our current topic, it was interesting because you and I actually had a conversation before Juneteenth, and then it seems I wasn't there, but it seems we had an event in the park, but now Juneteenth is a holiday, a national holiday. So do we have any plans on putting a Juneteenth thing that the city would put on, or just let groups apply, or I'm not sure.
Yeah. So this is the second year this group was here in the village, and I'm very glad that they came back and they felt comfortable coming back. I wish they had talked to me and gotten an event permit so we knew, because I would have liked to have known a Juneteenth thing was happening here in the village, and I think there are lots of other community members who would have known. I know I saw a number of you at the event last year. So I did already send an email out to the event organizer saying, hey, I'm glad you came back, but let's talk next spring so that we can do this. And I think they are the most appropriate group to do something Juneteenth related here in the village. So I'll make sure that gets added to the calendar and coordinate with them in advance.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Donna?
Are we going to continue with 2 meetings a month? I'm fine with it, but calendar wise, and when in September is where we're thinking of going back to City Hall. I just like an update.
Yeah, I was going to put that up too, that I think we're probably to the point where we can go back to 1 meeting a month now. personally, but I wanted to bring that up at the end of the meeting too, and the city hall thing too. So thank you, Donna.
Okay, so let's finish up this item with public appearances and we can discuss that as future agenda items. Any questions from community activities commissioners on the list of events or members of the public?
I've got just a couple of suggestions. So on the holiday thing, again, depending upon the singing ability and the whole COVID thing, it would be kind of fun to play around with that event tied to encouraging some sing-alongs. Because there's a lot of holiday songs that people are comfortable with knowing what the music is, and it involves people instead of just audience related things. So just a thought for the hopper, if that falls out, no big deal. And then I'm assuming you all know that the annual, what's the performance that is normally done at Sunset Center. All of a sudden it's escaped me. The ballet that's done at Christmas time, they canceled. Sure. Yeah, thank you. It left me, but yeah, they're not doing that this year, but maybe they've got some of the performers from prior years that are still willing to replicate what they did. If they haven't forgotten that, I don't imagine they would have, but anyway, that was another thought. And then back to the Halloween / anniversary birthday parade. Just not knowing how much of a crowd is relevant to that event. I don't know. I've experienced it, multiple years. But would doing potentially a food truck experience that people could, I don't know if that's just for that one special thing was a thought. And clearly we want to Donna's and all you guys' comments, we want to encourage people to eat at the restaurants, but that's not always practical, especially with little kids and the potential amount of people. So just a thought, again, if it doesn't work with regulation or other reactions from our local businesses that we want to continue to support big time, then I get it. But I just wanted to throw that out. My last comment on events is I still love the thought, like I've mentioned before, about doing a virtual sandcastle contest. I know it still is work to do and has staff implications. But Cannon Beach up in Oregon has a really good model that we can leverage the heck out of if we wanted to go there and or plan for that even in the future years instead of having it be a gathering thing or supplementing it with virtual and physical. I don't know, but it's still something that should be considered in the mix for potential futures. So food for thought. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy.
Wanda?
Hi, Wanda Vollmer. Getting to the Halloween parade, I live on San Carlos. It's such a fun event. I've only missed like 2 since I've been here since 1999. So it's a really great community event. But I can understand now listening to the meetings, the heavy lifting involved just for that lunch portion. And so I think skipping it, for you, giving you guys, a break is a nice thing, but I really like the community feeling of just having people come and sit at a table and sit around. And I've walked in the parade, I've attended the parade. It's such a great event. So I like the idea of keeping that going. And Donna, I'm interested in your idea of having businesses go into the parade as well. That's interesting. So, because we've always had, I think, just community groups walking the parade. So that's all.
Thank you, Wanda.
All right.
Sorry, I have like the biggest, giantest fly in my office right now. And it keeps like circling my head. It's awful. I'm trying not to swat at it, but it's really huge. I'm not creepy if you can't see it.
You have a bird fly.
I do.
I just want to do a big shout out to Nancy. She's been instrumental in the bus stop and in the lights at the Women's Club. So when you see those, I call her the Carmel Women's Club guardian now because Nancy's always there. So
I live next door, so.
yeah. Well, yeah. So, and the women's club is really ramping up to open in October. And we've got a lot of exciting things happening. And we too are very cognizant of the COVID rules and rentals. People are wanting to rent. That's screaming back, which we're thrilled about. But also the cleaning is that, I mean, everything that we're trying to do is we want to make it safe for the community. So that's happening, and the community to inch back into a little bit of what was happening before in a reasonable way. So thank you, Nancy.
All right. Any other thoughts about our events?
So we go to the future agenda items and talk about not having as many meetings and how we see us going forward.
Yes, we can move to monthly meetings. What I may do is reach out to some of you or agendize it in the future to build some ad hoc committees around these events if needed, just as we've done in the past, and that will help Leslie and I move forward, because it's been a big help, Ellen, and all the various committees we've had over this last year. So we can go back to the once monthly meetings. That's the second Tuesday of the month.
We can always have a special meeting.
Yeah, if we need to, we'll call a special meeting, but we can.
On the agenda for July 13th, the Women's Club will make a presentation.
Thank you, Donna, for coordinating that. And then Linda requested a report out on where we are with the Forest Theater RFP. So we'll add that to the June 13th event agenda as well. And then we'll keep doing our regular updates on the farmers market and the special events calendar.
And I just wanted to revisit the 4th of July decorations. I just wanted to kind of block something out. Are we on call for that, or will you be scheduling something with us?
I don't have an answer for you in this very moment, but I will send an email in the next 2 days.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have for future agenda items. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add?
When the other thing that Donna did touch on was, do we have an idea of when we will return to the
In person. They will begin just as they did with opening city facilities. They began with City Hall. I anticipate they'll begin with the City Council, prioritizing getting those meetings in person. And I'm not quite sure how that will trickle down to us. There may be a little bit of delay for when the council starts doing their in-person meetings. It's likely that there'll be some sort of hybrid, so there'll be things to work out. But as soon as I have a firm date on when we will resume in person, I will let all of you know. I would think it might be a little later for the boards and commissions. So the council might be starting in September. We may be starting in October.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you, Leslie and Ashley.
Yes, thank you everyone for attending this morning. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Meeting's adjourned.
Ashley.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Donna, for all that you did. You put that spreadsheet together. I appreciate it.
That's just the way I think, you know, I have to put it in little columns.
I made it colorful, so
good. Well, it was a rough draft to start with, but if I think in columns, I can kind of look at the big picture. So thank you. Thanks, Ellen. We worked on it together. So I like these ad hoc committees because I think it saves a lot of time at these meetings and it gives you something concrete to work on, I think.
It does.
They've worked out well this last year.
They really have. Yeah. Thank you.
I think we might need an ad hoc, I don't know, or continue for the parade to coordinate with with optimistic the chamber, or if there's anything else happening that they could sort of finalize and bring the details. So that's up to you, Ashley, where sometimes you can what's the word, liaison to somebody else, so then you don't have to make all the phone calls or do the
Yeah.
The minor work.
Yeah, Leslie's going to be out of the office, but when she returns, we're going to sit down and go through all of these events again and see where it is we need the help and kind of coordinate between the two of us, who's the lead on each one. So we'll get there and we'll get some ad hoc committees formed probably.
Is Margie coming back?
Not this fiscal year, but it may happen in the future. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.